So, what have you been up to, John, other than stirring up shit? Well, I've been doing some work in my basement. Okay? I have been setting up a room down there that I'm calling a listening room, and it's going to be acoustically treated. So, I've been working on that aspect of it. Okay? Working on the acoustic treatment of it. And I've got some of it done already. I started on one wall. It was the outside wall. I took the drywall off and I put plywood on, but I put it on in the form of panels. And the panels are on a grid, and behind the panels, like on the back of the plywood, I have put ice and water shield, which is self-adhesive. It sticks right onto the back of the panels. The idea of the panels is to kind of act, I don't know for certain if this will actually work. So this is more of an experiment, but I wanted to do the effect anyway. So the idea is that they'll vibrate at a low frequency and absorb some of the low frequency sound in the room. Okay? Because that's what acoustic treatment is. It's not soundproofing. A lot of people confuse those two. They think acoustic treatment, you're talking about soundproofing. Soundproofing is a completely different thing. Okay? Soundproofing would be good for a place like this where you want to keep the sound in so you won't be bothering your neighbors. Or if, in my case, you want to keep the sound out, because I don't care about my neighbors. Actually, I care about them, but I don't make that much noise. I'm rarely out here, actually. Anyway, so you want to keep the noise out from traffic and whatnot while you're recording. Okay, so that's soundproofing. And to do that, it's a completely different methodology. Okay? I'm not even going to go into it. Just going to talk about what I'm doing in the basement. Anyway, the panels, I did them on one wall. Like I said, I took off the drywall, I put those on. Those are all of this, everything that I'm doing is removable, demountable. So if I ever change my mind in the future, I want to take it all down, I can do that. You know, maybe I want to change something. Maybe I want to, maybe I want to add more mass to those panels that I put up on that wall. I'm doing the same on the opposite wall. And I've got to make some test equipment to test that. Okay, I ordered an accelerometer. What an accelerometer does, you have a cell phone, you pick it up and it comes on. That's an accelerometer inside the phone is sensing that movement. So an accelerometer can measure vibrations, panel vibrations. So I bought one of those. I just need to build a small preamp, and then I can make it work with my computer to plot out the vibrations, okay? So I was going to build a preamp, and that'll be an upcoming project on my speaker and audio channel. And also, okay, so I did that wall. Let's get back to the sound treatment again, all right? I did that wall, and then I started working on the front, what I'm calling the front wall, which is actually the front wall of the room. And this is an inside wall. It was already there, and it had drywall on it. I took the drywall off once again, and it's a 2x6 wall, actually. And I put insulation inside. On the ends, I put rock wool. Rock wool is more dense insulation, and it's just slightly better than the fluffy pink insulation you can get, the fiberglass. It's just slightly better. So I put that in there, and then I built out the wall with 2x6 that I cut down to 4.5, I think. Yeah, 4.5 inches wide to build it out to a full 10 inches thick, but just around the edge on both sides and across the bottom. The center is still the original thickness. Especially the sides will be large bass traps or acoustic panels that are built in. All right, now there's two ways to do that. You can do that so that they're open, just cloth covered. And when you do that, they absorb everything right down to a certain frequency. I measured these. It looks like they're absorbing down to around maybe 80. Okay, I don't have the proper equipment for measuring this stuff, but I'm just guessing. I've been doing room measurements as I do new things. Okay, so that's what I'll be going by when I get it all finished. I'll be able to track how effective everything was as I went through. But anyway, so like I said, you can cover that with cloth and that'll be finished. Or you can cover it with panels, like slats, something hard that's going to allow the lower frequencies to go through, but reflect a lot of the higher frequencies. Because in an acoustically treated room, you want to have some reflections, but you don't want them, like you want to control the reflections is what you want to do, right? Like this room here has a lot of things that are dealing with the reflections that are created by the sound of my voice. Like the workbench here, the other things that are in the room, the ceiling tiles absorb, okay? The insulation that's above it absorb it. I don't know if you've been around long enough to hear my shop before I put that ceiling in. It was really terrible, okay? That ceiling was an amazing improvement to the sound quality in this room. Plus then, the more stuff you put in, it doesn't absorb the sound, it redirects it. So you get the reflections bouncing kind of erratically in a room like this. However, in a room that I want to build in the basement, that I'm building in the basement, you want that more controlled, right? Something that you can say, this is where they're going, basically. And these are the ones that are going through, and these are the ones that are being reflected. So I made these 6 panels that cover this thing, and I drilled, oh man, thousands of holes. 3/4 inch holes with a 3/4 inch Forstner bit. Finished the panels with clear water-based polyurethane, which I'm doing with the whole room. And then I put those on, and then I retested the room again. So that's where we are right now, except I still have that space in the middle where there's going to be a TV screen, and beside that are going to be 2 what are known as quadratic diffusers. And those, you've probably maybe seen those before, but they're like vertical wells. Some are deeper than others. And that's the plywood that I'm working with right behind me here to do that. So I'm working on that. And that's going to be a video on my main channel. Okay? The other one, making these panels for the bass traps and across the bottom, I'm going to make a video for that, but I'm going to put that on my speaker thing. Okay? Because I don't know that they'll do, you never know though, right? You make a video and you say it's not going to do well, and 2 weeks later it's got 2 million views or something. And then you make a video that you say, oh, that's going to really, do really well. And then 2 weeks later it's still hasn't even hit 40,000 views. So you never know. Anyway, so yeah, I've been working on that. But the toolbox here is finished, and I got all the footage for the video, and I got it partly edited. I just can't bring myself to finish it. I have to finish editing the rough cut of the video, then I have to go through it and write notes on to come out here and record a voiceover, and I just can't bring myself to do it yet. I need to give myself a little bit more distance, so maybe in another week, okay? We'll see. But yeah, I don't like doing like that. I prefer recording the voiceover as I go, and that's the way I do most of the videos. I record the voiceover as I do a piece of the work, right? Sometimes that doesn't make for the best voiceover because I tend to repeat some things, like especially words, but it gets it done better. At least it gets it done, unlike this, right? But I'll get that done.